You may know that YouTube gives creators very exact statistics of how, what, when, where, who. And one of those things is that we see which parts of a video are being watched more, where people skip, where they drop off altogether, and also if something is watched many times. And this is something that I have been looking at. I looked at many of my videos to see where there are these spikes that show where people either they skip to or they rewind and watch it many, many times. The most common way how this graph is that so and so many people start watching it, and slowly and gradually it drops down, and only a certain percentage ever get to the end of it. Or if it's something important at the end, then they skip from the start to the end. So what I have done here is collect 10 different very short clips of those bits that people have rewatched. And there's also a list in the description of the videos that they are from, in case you want to watch more of any of them. Like many other videos, I'm doing some of this outside, and I'm in my own city, Turku, at the moment. I'm in the older part of the city. So let's start with the first one. The first clip is from a video about how to make these granny square slippers. And we'll watch this here a bit. And it's probably one of those videos where it's easy to guess where people would be watching several times. And that is where I'm explaining how you put these slippers together. Sew them together so that they are shaped like this. If you have the soles in different color, so they are in the middle here. This here is the heel, so these two go together like that, and then this goes there and this in here. So it will be like that. And after that's done, you'll turn it and fold the front bit over and sew that in here. The next one is a snowflake. I have several patterns for snowflakes with only 1 or 2 rounds of crochet. And this is one of the 2 round ones, one of the oldest ones. And this clip that people rewatch is simply where I explain how we are going to do the second and last round of it. So that was the first round. On the second round we alternate this here smaller point and the larger one. Both have picots. The small one has 1 and the big one has 3. The next one is a very romantic curtain that I sewed up from a whole lot of doilies I had bought in a textile recycling center. And I must say that I actually feel that this is the best video that I have done from the point of view of how you make videos. It has so many different angles and cuts and different things where I do this bit and that bit, and I'm showing things like something that I found in a chest of drawers from my mother's and added that to it and so. But this here, the way people have watched it, many people have skipped to the end to see what it turned out like, and that is something that happens often as well. I'm so glad it's finally finished. During the summer I will be doing more things outside. As you can see, there's still a little bit of snow there. It's the last weekend of April at the moment that we don't have any leaves in the trees yet, but in 2-3 weeks then we will. This next one is from a video about the wind spinner, how to make that. And I was a bit surprised about the clip. It's one where it sort of shows what it looks like from close by. But maybe that is something that people feel that they need to see very clearly. About the wind spinner itself, the pattern, I've been getting a number of comments about it where people have asked why I haven't mentioned whose the original pattern is. And the reason is very simple, there's no way of knowing. These wind spinners were being made in the 70s, and I don't know who started it and in what country. About 4 or 5 years ago, people in the Netherlands and Germany started making them, but all the patterns are more or less the same. Here's one of the ones I finished. And when we first start, you need to make the start about the length you want your spinner to be. It stretches a bit, but you see here that the starting chain is more or less straight, and especially when it's hanging, so the size doesn't change much. The next one is explaining how to do finger crochet simply, and for some reason the most watched bit in the beginning is where I explain what kind of yarn you could be using for finger crochet. So let's see that one. I'm in Spain at the moment and I got this in here, but you can use t-shirt yarn or very chunky wool or put several yarns together. And did you know how important the first 30 seconds of a video are? YouTube tells us all the time what percentage of people watch at the end of 30 seconds. And that has an effect on how much YouTube then in the future continues to recommend that video. So if you want to support a YouTuber, even if you're not going to watch the whole video, don't click off in the first 30 seconds. That has a big effect on how that particular video is going to do in the future. The next one shows both how things can go up and then suddenly down again. And this actually teaches me something, how not to do a video. This is a Christmas tree shaped tree decoration, and people start to see how to make it. But then there's a quick drop, and the reason for that is that I had mentioned that we start with a foundation single crochet. Now the reason for the drop may be either just the fact of using a foundation crochet instead of a chain, or the fact that I say right after that if you don't want to use foundation, just make a chain and single crochets. And I think that in most cases it's not a good idea on a video to give people two ways of how to do something at the same time. It's confusing. And then it depends a lot on how experienced crocheters the people are. We start here and work towards the top and then add this later. I have a slip knot here, and then I'm going to make 14 foundation single crochet stitches. If you prefer not to use foundation stitches that I'm going to show now, you can chain 15 and make one single crochet into each. You may have seen the Kalevala blanket design. It was a crochet along by 19 Finnish designers in 2017 when we had the 100 years of independence in Finland. I was one of those designers, and that blanket pattern was then translated into I think 7 different languages from Finnish. I have seen hundreds if not thousands of different blankets and people continue making them. The reason why this certain bit has been watched many times may be because people have clicked over from a written pattern, so it's a bit different from most of my videos. We first had a written pattern and then a video, while normally I either only have a video or the written pattern comes afterwards. So this is just a very basic part in the fairly beginning of this here square. Then this clip is from a video about 6 things that I don't do in crochet. And in some ways it's a bit strange that this here bit has been rewatched. It is simply a thing where I have made like a fan of the various magazines where I have my crochet designs in. And for some reason people have wanted to see that bit many times. Another exception is that I design for magazines and sometimes they ask me to use acrylic. With some of the videos, I was quite surprised at what parts of the video people would be rewatching. And this here video about the tutorial for how to make crochet pumpkins is certainly one of them. It showed 2 places where people were watching, and both of those showed the same thing. First as an explanation and then how to do it. Let's see which ones those were. Be able to put it through here from that side to the other. The 2 different sizes are made exactly the same, so you can start with either, as well as that it pulls it tighter like this, so that it makes the shape of a pumpkin more. And then the last one. It's from a video that keeps getting watched all the time, that has lots and lots of comments, and the bit that gets rewatched is simply the main content of the video, about 20 seconds of it. And that video is one about the magic ring. I have other videos about it, but this is the one that keeps being watched in spite of it not being very sharp. So I'm really annoyed about that in a way, because I made this here video about 2 months before I got a new camera, and then of course I had no way of knowing that it was going to be so popular. So hold on to your yarn, leave a bit of a tail, and wrap the yarn round your index finger once, like this here. Then you can hold on to the other end with your fingers, take your hook and insert it into that there ring you made. Take the yarn and create a stitch, and I always first make one chain here, one tight chain. Then just take it out of your finger. These were all the 10. Were some of them surprising to you, that people would watch just those bits more than in general? How much do you normally watch of a video? Do you skip or do you rewind? Which way do you normally watch? Please tell me in the comments. Till next time.